Okay, welcome everybody. I'm Brandy Walker, Diamond Ambassador, and we are hopping on tonight because we want to finish our month strong. We've got 2 days, and I hope that you guys have set some goals for yourself. I'm sure you have, and we want to just put in some work tonight and hopefully, go ahead and hit the goals that we've set for ourselves. There's a couple things that I'm doing this month, and I just want to kind of go over, some things that you can do. Of course, I want you to go ahead and write down the goals that you have set for the whole month. Go ahead and do that right now. And then also write down, what goals you want to accomplish over the next 2 days. So do you want to sponsor 3 more people by the end of the month? Y'all, that is not impossible. Maybe you want to sponsor 1 person tonight. Maybe you want to, you're going to send out some follow-up messages to all your potentials. Make sure you're doing a post. Make sure you're doing a story with a poll, because this is where you're really going to start that conversation with people, and it gives you an opportunity to not necessarily have to cold message somebody, but it gives you an opportunity to go ahead and have a conversation with them. Spend, a few minutes interacting, and Randy's going to kind of go over this a little bit more. And then we want you to send out 5 fresh reach outs to new people. And Randy's going to kind of just elaborate on that just a little bit.
I'm going to start and talk about, I guess, how we are going to start our morning though, and how important it is to start with a positive mindset. So one of the things that I typically do, as that I have to stay focused on and I have to choose to do, I can easily get lazy, and I'm sure every single one of us can, right? When I wake up, to not go on my phone and start scrolling. That is probably the absolute worst thing that you can do, especially these days. I feel like it can really get you easily into a bad mindset, depending on who you're following sometimes, right? So very first thing that I always do is read my Bible or devotional. If that's your thing. If that's not your thing, you can start your day with your gratitude journal, maybe even your favorite podcast, a video that's going to pump you up for the day. And if you guys can't think of any of those people that might do that, we can give you guys some tips on some people that we follow through podcasts and whatnot as well, or even on YouTube, or even some other people that are really great high up in plexus that can help there. Maybe you can read a chapter or 2 of a mindset book that you have. Make sure that you're following others who are very inspiring and positive. Start with your favorite music. That's one of the things that I love to do as well, is to turn my worship music on and start my day in that way. We don't always, one of the things that I love is, if I had a bad day, I love that I can just go to bed and wake up and start fresh, right? And be happy that next day. But we're not always woken up that way. Sometimes craziness is happening in our household. So we have to make sure that we are making choices to be positive, choices to be happy. And there was a time for a while, especially with everything that's been going on in this world, that I was kind of just, it was really hard for me to focus. And this is a more recent thing where I had to decide and make a choice to unfollow certain, even if it was keeping me in the know of what was going on or whatever, I had to unfollow certain people because it was literally causing me so much anxiety and stress and just not putting me in a good place. And so if that's something you have to do, even if it's a friend, maybe unfollow them for a bit. Or if it's, the things that were causing me issues was mainly through Instagram. So that was very easy to just decide to unfollow those and put myself back on track. So so I just wanted to start right there. Good tips to help you guys in a positive mindset. And then Brandy, I think, were you going to talk about setting goals a little bit first?
Yes. Like I said, you guys have probably already set your goals for this month. So if you've written those down, we're going to take a few minutes to just get to work and message people and follow up. So if you, just to piggyback real quick on what Randy was talking about, whenever you sit down to work, y'all, mindless scrolling I think it just sucks us all in, and that's not accomplishing your goals. It's not, that's just not worth your time. So if you've got extra time, create a reel, send more messages, do posts. You can always do posts for, the next day. Like tonight, you could even, if you want to spend your time, go ahead and formulating some posts for tomorrow. But I think, you know, one of the most important things with your posting and like the end of the month is getting those Instagram or Instagram and Facebook stories where you have polls where that can open up conversations with people. I'm going to put some messages in the chat here. Hopefully I can copy and paste them. So let me do that. Sorry, I should have already had this copied. Takes me a minute. Sorry, I'm so used to being on my iPad and I cannot do calls from my iPad, so this is taking a little bit longer. I'm just going to be putting a few little sample messages in there, but we're going to go ahead and set the timer. And y'all tonight, go ahead and just follow up with anybody that you have reached out to this month. You can go back, you can, even if you don't have anybody you can't remember, you know, I kind of go back and scroll like the last couple of months. And because sometimes there's people that maybe I've reached out to them, they've reached out to me and I just forgot to follow if it happens. And I think, Randy, actually, you were going to tell them about how to find, how to message or interact with people who you friended recently. Forgot about that.
Yeah, I think that was later on, but I can say that now too. Yeah, so one of the things, and I don't know how many people it has labeled at a time, because I think it depends on how many friends I've added in the last 3 weeks or whatever. I'm in the middle of a call, baby. Sorry. But yeah, anyway, I try to add several friends a week. And basically what I try to do is before I ever put a post out, I always want to make sure I used to stress about time. Like, oh my gosh, I'm supposed to put it up by 7 to 9 or whatever. Like I have to get in that time frame. I don't stress about that anymore. I think it's way more important to make sure we're interacting and building relationships with our friends. So what I like to do is if you go, and this is on the phone, so it might be different on the computer where you go, but if you click on your friends list where it says the number friends, it'll say all or recent. And so a list will pop up of the recent friends that you have just added. And so I go down that list and I start connecting with all of them. I'll go to that person's page, comment on some things. Maybe I'll send them a message depending on whatever it is. Like if they have stuff in their stories, I might comment in there and focus there. I don't stay on their pages for too long, but I'll just kind of go through a little bit and connect a little. And then I go to the next person. And I usually do this for the last about 15 to 20 people that I've added as friends. So I'm trying to connect and build that relationship with them. Now, as of right now, it's showing that I only have 6 friends and I know I've added way more than that. So obviously the list starts to disappear. So I can't remember how to do this. I have to look it up myself, but there is a way to download your friends Facebook list. And you can print it out or you can just leave it on your computer, but it goes in the order of how long you've been friends with people. So the ones at the very end are going to be your brand new friends. And so that's kind of how I like to connect with people. And so I'll do that for about 20 minutes or so, then put my post up and then I connect some more. And then you want to make sure too on your post that you are commenting, like responding to every single person. So sometimes it's hard to respond because it's like, I don't know, they say something that just, there's no way to put a response out. So sometimes I'll just send emojis back to them, like a kissy face or something like that. But it's important to always connect with them there too and go back and forth.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And one more tip, and then we're just gonna let you guys start messaging. You know, go back through your posts that you've done over the last month. Anybody that's liked or commented, because I think sometimes that's kind of basic. We forget that. Well, some of those people are interested. They just are not going to reach out to you. So make a little list real quick, and you can start reaching out or connecting with them. So we're going to set the timer for 5 minutes. No, that's not a whole lot of time, but you know, we're going to give you these messages too, so you can also use those after the call. But go ahead and just start reaching out to those people that maybe you've already talked to, or people that have liked your post this month. y'all real quick, just know that these are just samples. We always want you to use your own voice and put it in your own words. That's always the best, but these are just to give you ideas.
Baby boy, I'll be out in a few minutes. I'll be out in a few minutes.
Okay, it's been 5 minutes. Does anybody have any questions so far? Or got any responses? Not yet. Okay, we're just going to keep going. We went ahead and put all the messages in the chat. That way you guys can save them and just keep working. We've got about 9 more minutes, and that way you guys can just keep working. Okay.
Okay. Hey guys, I don't mean to interrupt if you guys are in messaging right now, but real quickly, I just wanted to um, talk a little bit about drawing people in from your posts, mostly just talking to you guys about posting stories with polls and how important that is. So you want to make sure that you guys, first off, I'm going to say when it comes to your posting, stay focused, consistent, and be intentional. Okay. For example, if we were trying to share greens this past week, I'm sure you guys have seen a bunch of schedules of what we were wanting to do and how you want to plan it out and how you want to do it like every other day, put something out there. But I make sure that I am putting something plexus related, gut health related, something like that every single day. Or if it's not gut health related, something even about the opportunity, because that is just as important, if not more important. So with your polls though, what you want to do is you want to make sure that there's a bunch of polls we put out there earlier, with everything that's in the green. So it was like, hey, do you drink kombucha? Do you get your fiber in? Questions like that. And when it gets to, and so they're answering the poll and going through, and you want to pay attention to who's seeing your stories, but you also want to pay attention to who's actually, clicking those buttons in the polls, and find a way to go ahead and send them a message. I put a message in there. It said, hey, noticed you liked my polls on greens. That used to be something that was so hard for me to get in. I don't know if getting your nutrients in is something you struggle with, but if so, would you be open to hearing about something that could help improve? Obviously, that was just something I wrote up really, really quickly to help out for here. But those are the types of messages that I'm going to go ahead and put out there. And when you're doing polls, you don't want to people aren't usually going to respond, just like they don't always respond on your posts about plexus posts. But if you're doing a poll about candida yeast overgrowth and symptoms, or you're doing a poll about being tired all the time and an exhausted mom, they're going to respond to those things. They're going to click them, right? Giving them like a this or a that type thing. So that's one of the ways that I respond to people and send the messages. Brandy, I don't know if you have anything that you do a little differently if you want to add. You're on mute.
I don't really have a set message. I just usually reply to them. Kind of like, you don't want it to be too canned, but it is good to have something saved, just kind of an example. Okay, we'll just spend the next few minutes. Okay, y'all, it's 7:30 and pretty much our time on here is done, but I hope you guys will just kind of take a little bit more time tonight and go ahead and finish following up. Does everybody have the messages saved? Have y'all copied them that wants them? If not, I can send them to you later, but I mean, that's all I got. Feel free to, hang out if you want. Does anybody have any questions about anything we talked about? No? Okay. I'm going to stop recording.